What is up, guys? Pinku49 here. We are back to Creative Question of the Week. I hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you had a great week last week. And we're back at it again with Magic the Gathering. I'm sorry. It's just the game I'm playing right now. And what's actually happening is the game's going through a transformation. And a lot of the cards that I usually like to use, which you'll see in this video, are going out of rotation, which means they're not going to be used anymore. So I wanted to just get in some last Magic the Gathering before everything changes, right? I'm not adverse to change, but I just love these old cards. I love my vampires. I love my angels. Anyway, that's enough about Magic the Gathering. We're not here to talk about that. It's eye candy as usual. We're here to talk about Creative Question of the Week. And I really do appreciate all your interaction. But I just want to say this again. I've said it a bunch of times already, but I just want to reiterate, guys, that this series doesn't happen if you don't participate. Right? I know there's not a lot of viewers on this channel. I know that my words probably don't resonate with a lot of you, and that's fine, that's okay. But what I need from you is that if you do watch this video, I'm begging you, please, I would really appreciate it if you just put in your thoughts, right? I don't care if you think I'm psychotic. Put that in the comment section. I'm not going to be mad. Trust me. If you agree with what I say, let me know. If you disagree with what I say, let me know. If you have a different opinion, let us all know. Because that's really what this series is about. It's about sharing ideas, sharing opinions. This is not just me talking to you or me talking to myself, as it feels like sometimes. But this is about sharing ideas, sharing opinions, sharing perspectives. And all perspectives are valid. All of them. So I really do value what you think about what we're talking about. If you have nothing to say about what we're talking about, then you're not using your brain, because you do have something to say. You're just being lazy. So I really do appreciate those of you who do engage in this series, who do ask the questions for next week. And hopefully we can keep this series running. I want to, but you know, if I'm just talking to myself, it's kind of difficult. All right? Anyway, I chose a question this week that has been asked many weeks in the past, and I just never got around to it. So that's why I chose it today. It comes from us from Kukag. I think Kukag is Utopia. The artist formerly known as Utopia. And he asks, so what do you think about immigration and assimilation? Do you believe in it or not? All right, thank you, Kukag. It's kind of a weird, do I believe in it? I mean, these things are real, so how could I not believe in immigration? I asked him to clarify his question, and he meant like immigration and assimilation to the United States, to American culture. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about immigration, and we're going to, you know, I don't know, it's kind of a trending topic. It's also kind of a sore spot for a lot of people. I don't know. Our current president, Donald Trump, has really taken it upon himself. I think of all the things he's done in the presidency, I think immigration has been his most active role, I guess. I don't know. He's put a lot of effort into it. Between trying to build a wall, between trying to create the ice. he's making ice, this guy. I don't know how he makes ice, but he does it. And he's just been doing a lot to try to make America white again. And yeah, I got a problem with that. So what do I believe in immigration? Let's start at the basics, at the base core level here. And I'm going to tell you my opinions again. You guys are free to argue. I hope you would argue. I want you to argue or agree. Just say something, okay? But I don't believe that borders are good for the planet, are good for humanity. I believe that nationalism, which is the belief in countries, our country's better than your country, right? Our country's different. So you're from Mexico, so you're a different kind of human. I believe nationalism is the number one cause for violence, for war, for separation, for hatred, for racism. It's all coming down to nationalism. And in the United States, it is ingrained in us since birth. I mean, I'm a lot older than a lot of you, but when we were in school, when I was in grade school, I had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. What is it? I don't even care what it's called. Pledge of Allegiance. And basically, every morning before school started, we had to put our hands on our heart, stand up, and pledge our undying devotion to our nation, like North Korea would do. We had to swear to the United States that we are the best country, that we don't make mistakes. United States would never do something wrong. We're always the good guys. And they instilled that in us at a very young age when our brains were still forming, when we had no ability to question it. And that sort of thing stays with you for your whole life. So now we have adults who are like, America, yeah, F yeah, right? Who believe that America is the greatest place on earth, who believe that America could never do anything wrong, who believe that America should be violently taking over other countries to make America great. And it's nationalism. It's all because of nationalism. The idea that since I was born on this side of an imaginary line, and you were born on that side of an imaginary line, that we are different, that we have different values, ideas, cultures, everything, genes even, and that we shouldn't mingle. So I think nationalism is evil. It's downright evil. And the reason for it is so that those in control, those in power, can maintain their power, so that they can control those people who are weak-minded, who are willing to give in to this sort of programming. And it's so that they can just keep their power, right? If they get everyone on their side, right? These people who I've never met, right? I'm talking about politicians here. These people who I've never met, who've never proven anything to me, who have lied to my face continually over and over and over. These people who are leading this country are looking out for me, and they're noble, they're upstanding citizens. It's ridiculous. The only way that could ever work is if you program them to believe that, right? You wouldn't give any respect to a stranger on the street who lied to you, who cheated you out of your taxes. You wouldn't give respect to them. So why do we give respect to these people running our country? We've never met them. All they've done to us is lie. They've cheated. They've stolen. Yet we believe that they're guiding this country in the best way forward. So I believe nationalism is evil. I believe it's the number one cause for war, which is the ugliest thing on this planet that's ever existed on this planet. The darkest, the most evil, the most destructive thing that's ever existed on planet Earth is humans warring against each other. And it's all because of nationalism. So I hate it. I don't think there should be borders. I think borders are doing nothing but separating us. It's making you believe that you're different from your fellow human being when you're not. He was born a mile that way. I was born here, but he was born a mile that way across an imaginary line. He doesn't deserve the same human rights as I do. He doesn't deserve to even come over here without written permission from these nameless, faceless politicians. What? It doesn't make any sense. It's backwards. We're living in a madhouse. To think that's acceptable behavior, this is something that, in 1,000 years, humanity is going to look back upon and say, what? You had countries? That's so stupid. Just like we look at human beings 1,000 years in our past and say, wow, they were basically caveman. In 1,000 years, they're going to look at us and say, wow, they had borders. Wow, what a bunch of cavemen. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So why not see that now? Why not see how our stupid behavior is harming us now? Why wait 1,000 years before humanity catches on? So nationalism, evil, absolutely evil. So that obviously kind of shows how I feel about immigration. I personally believe that not only should there not be borders, any person should be able to travel or live wherever they want to travel or live without express written permission from their government. It's stupid. It's retarded. It's evil. It causes war. It causes separation. Right? The more that we separate as human beings, the more we're going to war. The more we're going to fight. The less we're going to unite and come together for a common good. That's what borders causes. It's bad. It's real bad. So what do I think about immigration? I think that anyone who wants to come here should absolutely come here. Anyone who wants to go anywhere else should absolutely... We shouldn't need a passport. We shouldn't need to pass some stupid test. It's dumb. It's just dumb. Okay? It's meant to control us, basically. So, I want to read to you... Now, let's shift our focus to the United States. I want to read to you something. Listen to this. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. the wretched refuse of our teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. That is the inscription on the Statue of Liberty. As you come into Ellis Island, the immigrants, read this. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. This country was founded by immigrants. Every single one of them was an immigrant. And they created this country with the intention of allowing those who wanted a safe harbor to come here, to be free here, to practice their religion, to practice their culture, to do whatever they want. That's the foundation of America. Every single one of us is an immigrant, except the Native Americans, and even those are immigrants. They all came down from Russia through the Alaskan Bridge. So everyone who's ever existed on this continent has immigrated here from somewhere. But look at what's happening now. We are headed towards a Nazi dictatorship. In fact, some would argue that we're already there. In Nazi Germany, under the Nazi occupation before World War II, you had to have papers to move anywhere. If you were a Jew, you were in big trouble, okay? You weren't free. The government had too much control. It was a totalitarian dictatorship, basically. But that's what we're headed towards now, with Donald Trump wanting to build a wall, with the increased crackdown on illegal aliens. I'm using air quotes, illegal aliens, like it's illegal to be a person, right? You were born in Mexico, therefore you are illegal. All they did was walk here. They walked here, okay? It's so bad. What's happening is bad. So we've got this creation of the ICE, right? And ICE is just sending people away, right? What happened to give us your tired, your poor, your homeless, your tempest tossed? What happened to that? Suddenly we don't want the brown people, right? Suddenly that's Nazism, okay? This is totalitarianism that we're headed towards. And I think it's very evil. And if we don't put a stop to this now, we're headed down a very slippery slope. Very slippery slope where human beings can be made to feel inferior based on where they popped out of their mom. You popped out of your mom in Mexico. Therefore, you are effed. Right? Oh my goodness. This is so sad for humanity. It's not making us come together. It's separating us apart. And if you are tired of violence, war, fighting, then you have to stand up for something. Because bad things are happening. Okay, bad things are happening right now. So I think the immigration in this country, the United States, needs a complete overhaul. Now, I mean, a lot of you are going to argue, well, we don't want criminals, we don't want violent people, rapists, that sort of thing in our country. That's true, but we're using that as an excuse to not let anyone in, right? I'm not entirely sure on the immigration process to the United States, but I believe that you need to have a college degree in order to become a citizen. Is that correct? Maybe someone can correct me in the comment section. That's what I thought. I'm not 100% sure. But, I mean, what the hell? What the hell, man? This is so backwards. You know, people in foreign countries don't have the resources, some of them, to have a college education. So they can't be an immigrant here. Man, I mean, we're all immigrants. Every single one of us. Every single one of us is an immigrant. But once we get here, it's okay to say, that's it. I'm the last immigrant who's ever going to come here. And everyone after me, you're screwed. No, it's ridiculous thinking. It's backwards thinking. It's evil thinking, I believe. So I think that as far as immigration goes, I honestly truly believe that if you want to live in the United States, then all you should have to do is buy a plane ticket, right? Obviously, you need to pay taxes. That's a whole different taxes is a whole different video. I believe taxation is theft. I believe that it's theft by our own government. So I don't truly believe in taxes. But as long as we're going to have taxes, I do believe that immigrants should pay them. You know, there's different ways of making sure that happens. I think our current model is not correct exactly. I think The word illegal immigrant really triggers me. It really does. Because you didn't you jumped through the hoops and ladders that our government stated that you had to go through in order to exist here. I think there's one thing, like just me and you as citizens of the United States, we have to pay taxes, and that's pretty much all we have to do, right? Why isn't that the same for everybody? You live here, you pay a tax. So, I mean, there's different ways that we can go about that. And if you have any ideas, let me know, right? Maybe as we do the census, maybe we do the census every 5 years, maybe every 2 years, and we count every person and make sure that every person that we count is paying some sort of tax in some way. So, yeah, I mean, there's different ways that we can go about treating people in this country. Now, let me get to the second part of the question. He was asked, what do I think about assimilation to our culture? That's an interesting question. I believe that, what is American culture really? When you think about it, American culture is an amalgamation of all different cultures, like a bunch of different cultures. So there's no real American culture unless you're talking about apple pie and baseball or something. I don't know. But but I believe that when a person comes here, that they should be allowed to bring a part of them with them. That's what actually makes America great. What makes America great is that we're a melting pot of shared experiences, cultures, and knowledge and wisdom, right? You go to a lot of different countries, all the people are kind of the same. For a lot of countries, you see one type of person with the same culture, all with the same beliefs, and it's boring. It doesn't create growth. But I believe America is truly special because so many different people come together in this one place, and they all bring their shared knowledge. They all bring their different skills together. And what that creates, and why I believe America has been so strong in the short history of our existence, is because we draw upon the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom of many different people. That's what makes America great. That's what Donald Trump doesn't understand. He wants to go in the opposite direction. He wants to make America all one type of person, make sure they all look like him, right? But what has made America truly great for the last 200 and something years is that we're all so different, right? I don't want to get into stereotypes, but the Chinese built the railroad system. They built our massive transportation system, right? The Italians built massive cities like New York. I mean, we so many different people have come together to create cool stuff in this country, and some would say like the best stuff. But it's only because of our diversity that any of that happened. So I think it's very important that people come here with the intention of sharing their culture, sharing their life experience, sharing their knowledge, sharing their wisdom. Without it, America would not be as great a country as it is. There's a lot of... It just doesn't make sense to me, the people who believe differently. Right? Let's look at like the KKK, right? They want only their culture and their culture only, which is a culture of violence and hatred. And the reason why they're not a powerful group in this country is because they're not allowing new information to come in. They're stuck in their same stupid ways forever. And how can you grow if you're going to be stuck in the same stupid way forever? It doesn't work like that. You have to be, in order to grow, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. You have to listen to new information. That's why I'm doing this series, guys. I don't know if you understand it, but I'm trying to expose you to different perspectives through this series. And I think that's what assimilation to our culture kind of stops it. Right? Think of our food. We've got pizza. We got American Chinese fast food, right? We got hamburgers. We've got all the things that you love and enjoy. None of it comes from this country. It all comes from different cultures. I mean, we can get Indian food, Thai food, Japanese food. Anywhere in America, you can go and get that. And you can get like kind of authentic versions of them. Not the most authentic, but they're pretty good. Close. And that's because we're bringing all this shared knowledge together in one place. That's because a lot of people who come here refuse to just give up their ways of life. that they've lived for their whole lives just because they're in a different physical location, right? Your culture isn't something that's based on physicality. Your culture exists inside you. It's how you were raised to think, to believe, to talk, to feel. So I think it's quite impossible to say, leave your culture behind you at the door, right? If you're coming over from Turkey, leave your Turkish delights over there. No, we want to taste your Turkish delights over here. Bring them with you. So it's a simple explanation. I don't know why anyone would believe anything other than what I've just said. Of course, it's my perspective, but I think I put together a pretty clear point. I got my case, right? If we're going to debate this in a court of law, I think I'll win. How are you going to win by saying that we should shut ourselves off from other cultures when that's what this country was built upon? That's the essence of the United States. Right? What if the Native Americans hadn't brought their knowledge of trapping animals to the United States? They would have starved, right? It's absolutely required to maintain your culture. Now, of course, you can assimilate, right? If you want to start celebrating Christmas for no other reason than it's a fun thing to do, then by all means do it. I think that's your prerogative. I think if you can assimilate as much as you want. That's the beauty of America. You have the freedom to do whatever you want. Right? When you come to this country. So I think it's really cool that some people, will adopt Americanisms. They will become more American. But I just hope that those people don't lose themselves in the process. I hope that they realize that they are free to do as they please, and they shouldn't have the pressure to fit in. I've lived in other places, and currently I live in California, where the pressure to fit in is very low, right? We're so different here in California that any race is kind of accepted no matter what. But, I have lived in Texas before, and it's a lot different there. There was a pressure to fit in, to be like one of the good old boys, right? Because you were treated differently if you weren't a good old boy. So, different places in the United States have different energies, different kind of expectations. So I may be living in a bubble here in California. That's quite possible. And maybe that the pressure to assimilate is high in some other places. Well, I know it's high in Texas at least. I just want to speak from experience only. So I do know it's high in Texas, and I think it's kind of, it's not good. I wish more places would be like California, where we don't really care what you look like or where you're from, because there's so many different people here that, rich white people are kind of a minority almost, which I think is a pretty cool thing. I like it. But tell me what it's like where you live. Is there a pressure for people from other countries to change, to be more American, or is it kind of more of a free environment where they're allowed to be who they are and how they want to be? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to your guys' comments. I know I said that at the beginning of this video, but I just want to reiterate that this series needs you. We need you. Your country needs you. And even if you're not from the United States, what is it like in your country? I would love to hear what things are like all over the world, right? I know in England that there's a huge immigration of Middle Easterners, and some people are for it, some people are against it. So I'd like to hear, maybe if you're British, what you think about immigration as well. And because the British are coming from a whole different perspective. There's a lot more history there. There's a lot more ingrained programming than maybe even in the United States. We've only had 200 and something years of programming, whereas in British culture there's been thousands of years of programming. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this, what you think about immigration in general, what you think about what I've said about immigration, what you think about culture and how people should assimilate to their new cultures, or if they should assimilate at all. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on all that sort of thing. And I want to say thank you to everyone who asked the question, including, what's your name? Kukag? Kukag? I don't know, man. Why do people change their names? I'm just going to call you Utopia because I think that's who you are, right? Anyway, I want to thank you for your question, and please leave a question in the comment section for next week. It's the gasoline that sends this train down the track, is the questions that you ask. So let's keep this locomotive churning and heading in the right direction. So I want to thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Put your questions in the comment section. Happy questioning of the weeking. Peace.